Okay, so officially quicksort is pretty useless unless you want to use no additional memory or low additional memory. Why would you want to do that? I don't know. If you're already overloaded with data and you want to do swaps, I mean, you're screwed. Only quicksort can sort you out, basically. You basically call the ambulance. You call the fucking fire department to help you out. That's what quicksort is about. But if you're a normal human being and you don't get in trouble when your house is burning down and you have extra space in your said house, you can reorder things using the other ones. All right? The only question is my sort actually bucket sort? Did we went full circle and we accused me of bucket sorting anyways? Eh, eh. Or counting sort. Because this is the territory which actually lets you escape exponential timing and whatnot. I still have to learn all this language, guys. There's so much to learn just to get bullied anyways. Anyways, I mean, this is the biggest bullying right now. LSD's Radix is better than MSD Radix. Stop. Stop saying that. You're not going to convince me that. That's insane. But we have to fundamentally exit, like, comparative territory in order to get the proper speeds that we're supposed to get. And the only way to escape comparative territory is to actually add more memory, right? When we do these, like, visuals, there's no extra space. So quicksort looks pretty good on paper, on this particular paper. But, man, this is getting outdated as well. This whole visual thing, that's getting outdated. Because, like, it's supposed, like, if we actually handling data, it's supposed to go iteration by iteration, pretty much. And maybe your sorter is also doing just one iteration. That's a problem, too. Right? Iteration by iteration, that means that everything moves around all at the same time. It is possible to visually show that in the same exact way. And so if I was to show my algorithm, like, everything just moves, it's relatively sorted, and then fucking zips with, you know, insertion sort. The only question we have to ask is, am I fundamentally different? I have to double check, basically. Am I different than bucket sort? Can we improve bucket sort? What's going on? Because, like, there's something that I have to call bitwise MSD Radix, which is fucking bullshit name. But this seems like the most efficient, the fastest thing ever. The fucking fighter jet or bullet train of sorting algorithms is the best thing that no one knows about. Even AI doesn't care, you know, because no one cares about this. Still, AI has to explain why LSD is better than MSD. And if you're wondering what that means, it is significant digits. Least or most significant digit. I'm not claiming that it's always better. I'm claiming that it's always better to use MSD. Alright. Now, it's weird for me to claim that I have the fastest algorithm because I don't care to even write it down anymore. It's getting so fucking theoretical. It's a theoretical battlefield because, like, if I want to actually improve my algorithm, I have to sort of rewrite it, add additional things. Like, I had bubble sort in there, and it was making me slow. Okay? People had to laugh at me. Alright, bubble sort is no good. Then I added an insertion sort, and all of a sudden, bam. Now I'm back. Round 2. But now I have to learn all of this additional shit. I will let it explain bucket sort again, because I don't care about irrelevant stuff. What makes me feel insecure is that, shit, this can't be just bucket sort anyways. Alright, it's the the bully go-to thing, but it looks like bucket sorts. I take minimum and maximum. I don't actually take too much data, but I would probably take that too, right? I would take, like, what is the most efficient buckets to fill in. But if I'm not using lists, which is another problem, then I'm literally gravitating back to, I'm basically disqualified from doing my thing. If it's Olympic Games, I'm disqualified. Now, obviously, I still want Olympic Games to fucking happen of sorting algorithms, because that shit is legit cool, right? And is generally untested. Like, I can do this. What's the point anymore? Right? We don't know anything. We don't know the speed anymore. Right? It's all theoretically impossible to know. You have to now throw into practice, and every single tiny change can become its own version, basically, of the car. But the first thing that has to be proven is that sorting algorithms are useful. That was not proven yet, but I'll keep trying. I just don't think, even like to nerds like us, like, it's just not useful. I don't care how many nerds are sorting shit, but it's not useful. Like, even like in computer graphics, I'm not using sorting algorithm. So what's the point? Like, if I'm not using sorting algorithm to solve the world's biggest problem, which is polygons, then sorting algorithms just fundamentally don't matter, besides like data management. But even then, it's probably like the bottleneck is somewhere else. So again, you must understand, like, if you watching this video, you're probably not gonna get anything valuable here, right? We have to be realistic. So if we're using array, then all I have to do is just scan the goddamn data set, and I can actually use array. I just scan the data set. I pick the best, like, most split out bucket system, like where these are equal instead of just like bam, and then you have a bunch of these buckets. I find the most, like, best way to bucket the whole thing, to split the whole thing. So that's like phase one, or step one. And again, you usually just use 2x memory based on the amount of data you have. But even then, like, how much data actually has to be sorted, because that's another different thing, right? If there just has to be an ID and the sorting bits that matter, right? The rest of the data, if it's structural, whatever, is going to occupy more space than your sorting algorithm needs. Technically, it's weird. How do you find the most evenly distributed? I don't know, man. It has to be the closer to, like, minimum of whatever the size of data was. It seems pretty intuitive. What's closer to average? To be more clear, like, let's say we have like 100, 200, 350, numbers like that. So like hundreds and 200s, like, would go here, bam. And maybe you have some anomalies, basically. Anomaly numbers. But that's not helpful. It has to be anomalies in both sides, just to make sure that the data gets sorted properly. So two sides of anomalies, things greater than the hotspot and things lower than a hotspot. That I have discussed already countless of times. And you just have to have this, all right, when you're doing these buckets. You have to double check the anomalies, if the anomalies fill up as well. But the anomaly size does not matter, right? it's completely fine if it's small. If it's big enough to where it's size of a bucket, then it's not a fucking anomaly. You have to probably find something better, but it's fine anyways. And, well, you sort within buckets, I guess. How do you do that? Ah, yeah. But you also, well, no, if you're using array, you are sorting within buckets and you're screwed. If you're using lists, however, that's where lists kind of, try to shine at least. That's where you don't know how fast it is. I don't know how fast it is. The list just kind of gives an approximate position and just lets you inject a value in an approximate position. It's actually a big boost. It's something that cannot be ignored. And that's my invention, all right? Using lists to sort data. Unless AI says fucking otherwise. What the fuck is the distribution sorting? What, more specific? So it's those three again. The bastards, basically. And it's so complicated at some point. If exact positions. We're talking about lists, though, dude. This is where things get, like, another full circle of, like, no. Do you even fucking understand? You just reinvented a slower algorithm. And the next invention part is that I do the fix. Yeah, I still think it's working. It's just weird, you know? Exactly what make, like, did I stumble upon, like, fucking bulletproof stuff as well? Did they actually thought about additional things other than just, like, sorting itself? Because then we get fucking brutalized. Then it's so far off that, like, it's no longer a competitive environment. But, we'll never know. Until maybe the next year I get my hands on some fucking randomized data set and then we check different algorithms and whatnot, right? Basically, if I become scientist for this particular matter, because it looks like until that happens, there's no fucking reason. Or if you are borderline scientist and you already have everything set up, yeah, sure, I'll give you a fucking code or something. We can collab. You still have to find my main channel, Discord, and talk to me and set things up. You have to do it. I have the idea. I don't have the fucking patience to hunt down a scientist either. I will stump the AI again. It's a cyclical process as well because AI does not learn anything. Yes. To how high-performance hybrids work. Yes, 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 the bucket, but it's not a fucking bucket. I mean, it's more like if a hotspot messes up the data, then we have a problem. There is one more thing that's very interesting. I mean, the list could be on top of an array. Like, the compositions are impossible to comprehend anymore. The amount of compositions. There can be a list above the array for any values that overflow, basically. Then you start injecting into a list. And based on the amount of buckets, you probably need multiple lists as well. Or you do overflow arrays if arrays are faster. Like this, the amount of shit that you have to test to actually know if it's faster is scientist level. We have to employ a scientist, and I'm not a scientist for this particular thing. I am a scientist of raycast rendering. Alright? That shit, I had to make sure that it's fast. It's really, really fast and really, really good for what it's trying to do. This, I'm not going to be scientist for this. Sorry, I've refused the job application, but I'll give all my findings to the nearest scientist I can get, so contact me, basically. It's weird, but that's where we are. Like, you guys, the NPC, alright? The NPC part of this discussion. Shut the fuck up, alright? You're not gonna disqualify any of this. You're not gonna fucking shrink it, label it, and toss your stones. It's you too fucking flimsy, alright? You're not gonna do it. You're not just gonna fucking put a label on something and move on. If we actually want to know what the fastest thing is, we actually have to really know through testing every single possibility. That's the only way. And even then, there's the theory part of everything where technically different data sets work differently, but I wouldn't count on that. All right, everything is bits. In the end of the day, everything is motherfucking bits. If you want the biggest bits and the smallest bits, then that is definition of sorting and nothing else, right? You fundamentally have to break the definition of sorting if you want something else. Comparative sorting, I don't know, to just see what happens. I want to know examples of what comparative sorting is, but it's not sorting anymore, right? Despite quicksort being the best competitive sorter, or comparative sorter. But it's not sorting. I will ask AI if, like, is comparative even sorting? Or are we just, like, creating a whole different branch of sorting? Anomalous sorting. It's difficult to talk to AI because you never know when it's going to try and punch you or accept you, and you never know how correct that is. Deep question. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah, look, I'm getting punched right now, and it's just like, what the fuck? Alright, I'm punching back, because fuck you, AI. Yes. That's important, isn't it? Like, this is how in real life we sort things. So, even using just quick sort, which is a comparative sort, is dumb. And again, the comparative thing is just a buzzword. It doesn't, like, it's not useful. It's even less useful than the main sort. Like, the main way of sorting is the most useful. So the min-max sorting is the definition. Why is it too fucking narrow? What do you mean it does not require ranges, though? What do you mean? I mean, there's even, like, more generalized version of sorting, which is labeling. Alright? It's not a philosophical claim. That's how we do it. We categorize things. Categories are not a fucking philosophical thing. They literally break down into, like, the big category, the smaller category. They break down into layers of definitions. Like, actually, naturally happens. Like, it's definitely min-max. Like, everyone wants to, like, do that. This is our culture right now. This is min-max. Like, bro, like, you want to fucking punch me again? You want to punch me again, AI? Alright. This is literally our culture. We're min-maxing right here. It's just, we also shifted conversation to mostly focus at comparative sorts. to be inclusive and safe, I guess. Fucking bastard. That is what the definition of sorting is. This thing, right? This is what people know as sorting now. Culture, yeah, now it got fucking defeated, you know, knockout. This is fun, like, learning is fun, but, you know, it requires respect. And when you label my shit, you're not doing sorting? I mean, no, even though that's kind of... No, NPCs are very good at name calling because that's what they have to do. They have to label every single fucking person. This guy's person good, this guy's person bad, stupid, smart, blah, 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 blah. Every single fucking thing has to be labeled. And usually NPCs use the comment section to fucking gather data, so there's always going to be bullies that will try and fucking destroy my name and try and stick all kind of nasty labels, and NPC's going to be like, oh, we hate that guy. You know, it's so fucking crazy. But, this is what I have to deal with, man. That's the internet, too. The way they attack my, ability to inject more interest, at least interest, into the subject, I still get attacked, right? It's weird. But that's why you have to, like, blatantly obliterate the bullies. That's a different subject. So yeah, sorting, labeling, and then comparative sorting. These are different categories. And you can do, like, most, 90% of the things, just with sorting alone. Labeling. Labeling is also pretty good. And technically, if we actually compare, we can label things 90% of the time. Right? In fact, when we sort something, then we can start labeling it. Right? I'll give you an example. What is top 150 and top 200 influences in my life? And then you see it. It's labeled. Because I sorted. You know, everyone has their number. Then we start labeling of what is the best and what is the worst. Right? All of this stuff. It's so fascinating. So technically, yes. It goes down. Comparative sorting, though, goes into sorting, translates itself. I don't know what that means. But I feel like it would do the same pattern, because it always does. Everything works in similar patterns. So I mean, I can definitely upgrade my sorting system. Cannot those old sorting systems be upgraded? I think they can upgrade themselves too. They just need to know what counts as an upgrade. Alright? Usually it comes with, like, cultural data, just understanding what people need out of your sorting system. But at the same time, because, like, you cannot just be, like, overly inclusive to make sure that everyone is satisfied. Right? You don't have to do that anymore. The AI can just spit out of, like, whatever you need personally. You need this and that sort. They hand it over to you. Bam, slam. They see how generic, how common it is to serve your needs. Just to, you know, remind you how far you went. Your sort that you require is very common. Thank you very much. By the way, you cannot actually label anything until translated. Right? If it requires translation, then another process has to happen. So you technically cannot do any of this stuff until you translate your data set. At this point, I'm just saying sentences, though. Let's keep going. I need to know the LSD versus MSD because it's so weird. There is advanced, the real one, of course. Haha. Count frequencies. Yep. The real one. God damn it. Like, you cannot get it from Wikipedia back in the day. You can only get it through AI at this point. Star says output. This is like very cool stuff. Nah, it's really cool. If you have just enough buckets, you don't actually need to worry about it too much. And you can make swaps while the data is going into the array. It's so fascinating. If you have enough buckets, and just like it's like 4 values in there, as the data goes down, like it occupies a space. If data wants to go to the same space because that's where it feels like it's supposed to go, now it's clashing with the other data. There's a data clash. So like, which one goes where? Well, they find free space and they go where they're supposed to go. They have to resolve their, you know, conflict. This is a very, very simple thing that should have a name by now. So I'll ask AI about that. But essentially now they occupy 2 spaces, and this is already contact proof or conflict proof. So you know only 4 spaces is going to be taken because buckets are very, like pre-calculated. They know how big they have to be. They all counted. So it's very fast. Like, this is a whole new world, guys. It's a whole new world. And the efficiency comes from finding mistakes or finding some kind of weird-ass additional layer of code that you can attach to speed the process or reduce the conflicts. And, like, you can continue adding logic and principles, all that shit, usually. But most importantly, in the end of the day, you need science to test it all. And, all of us are just humble spectators. I'm a speaker, but I'm still a humble spectator of Sorting Olympics. That's what triggered me into thinking that. Because, like, we can figure that out. That's what counting is about. Counting frequencies. But you have to pick the right method to, split these frequencies to make sure they don't clash and conflict, as I say. Okay. Yes. And in the end of the day, it's like, well, first of all, you have to break through, right? This is such a very nice way to, like, symbolize the growth of personal knowledge. How you build understanding of the sorting system is just like a very good starting point for just knowing things in general. It's just so beautiful, right? So if you approach a person who's actually passionate about this thing, like, you can actually measure up how much you know about each sorting system, all that stuff. And can you break through into the actual waters, not just stay in your confined rivers and pools, basically, but you get that ocean understanding. And then you also get a ticket to wait for that magical scientist to show up that has everything we need to start the Olympics, bro. What the shut the fuck up. What? I still don't know, by the way. I still don't understand. Like, yes, it told me the process of the complicated thing, but I'm honest, I still don't understand these fucking other ones. Like, these ones are, like, super easy to understand. These ones are not at all. They're mad. No, it's an array of data, just exactly the same size. You can plug in insertion sort, quick sort, Radix sort inside each. No! No! No, well, fuck me, I guess. The Megal algorithm. Oh my god, it's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Because if a bucket is too big, then you just split it into more buckets. It can also like automatically split. I mean, even though you label my shit as bucket sort, bucket sort is known as Megal algorithm, so let's fucking go. No, I still don't do bucket sort. But I would in order to tackle hotspots. It's very different reasoning, basically, of why I need bucketing data, basically. I need to split the data apart a little bit, sparse it out, right? Yeah, I mean, like when we're talking about ONs over and over again, what the fuck do you expect? You think my complexity is gonna go higher? No, I'm not doing comparative shit, because no one should be doing that. If you're only here if you're using ON algorithms, bitch, you know? That's it, that's how it works. And normies wouldn't understand that, would they? This whole section is ON. There's no other way, because it's not comparative, it's not clashing tournament style sorting. Get out of here. That one is just a big insight to the entire community that people just have to confidently, fight back with this. I'll ask AI for like closing words to make sure everything is even though I repeat this insight over and over again, but this one is very good, right? We defined what sorting is, and we defined that sorting is fundamentally ON, not any other way. Comparative sorting is something 1% of people need, or 1% of puzzles need this. And to find that puzzle, I mean, good luck, my guy. Good luck. How many puzzles have you found in your life? Yeah? And good luck not trying to translate it back, because translating back means that you're gonna work with ON anyways, right? So you can just translate the data, even if it feels like you need comparative, but maybe you don't. If it's easier, it's easier. If you don't have to change it, if you only have to sort it once, blah, 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 you get it. Adaptive bucket sizing. I would rather not be adaptive. I would rather be adaptive at splitting the buckets to just a very nice size where like insertion sort can just like zip through the entire thing very quickly, right? Instead of just going through separate buckets, right? Let me fucking say that to AI. I sort of understand. It's very interesting. This whole thing is very interesting. Yeah, I will basically make this whole closing statement. Like, the reason why you cannot call it bucket sort, because I use one big array. Just a mirror array. And buckets sound like it uses multiple arrays, and it's like, what the fuck is that? You definitely don't want to do that. Exactly. AI is very, like, honorable when you acknowledge the gap of the universe. The real backbone. Here you go. And the real backbone is the definition. So I defeated AI, and now I piss in its mouth. All right? It's just regurgitating my thoughts. Ocean analogy. Dressed up. Distribution-based sorting. Why is it called distribution, though? It's taught after comparison sorts, and that's evil. Yeah, I fell into this trap, basically, of like, I think I can be faster, but there is no way to be faster. You can only think smarter. You can only kind of discover things like bucket splitting. I think bucket splitting is not not a thing. Okay, but that's a story for another day, guys. Automatic bucket splitting? Damn. That shit is it's fascinating. I love how it's impossible to say like random data. Like how do you write it down? It's impossible. You can only say, well, I have 20 elements ranged from 1 to 99 or whatever, right? How do you describe data? But that's the fucking point. If you can describe your data, you can sort it fast, very, very fast. If you cannot describe your data, you just know what you're looking for. Interesting. Comparative sort, maybe? You might break a sorting algorithm with unknown data set, but I don't know. Anything can be broken if you throw a brick at it. This is the biggest takeaway. You can, in fact, make your own algorithm. Can you brag that it's the fastest in the world? Absolutely you can. It's the best clickbait ever. If everything is ON, right? If everything is ON, you are technically the fastest in the world, and nobody fucking knows until there's Olympics, right? Until we actually test the... You can't just know using theory anymore, which is great. You know, it's more fun that way, to be honest. It's more fun. We're gonna get to see marbles race each other. But it will mean something, you know? Yeah. You have to be able to explain how your algorithm works so people understand it. That is the real hurdle at the ON level, at the sorting level, so... Because that's the hurdle that we all know. Like, we don't know how half of the sorting algorithms work. We can't possibly remember that. But if you can actually explain it, so people do remember, that is the just the ultimate. Like, let's say, like, people explain 3 algorithms and you remember that one in particular. That's the one that wins, obviously, right? Because they're basically the same. The only question is how easy it is to, like, recreate it, right? In case you are just, like, wake up in an island and you have to recreate what you know, right? It's the one that you still remember that's gonna win. So yeah, this, and stop bullying people, okay? Stop labeling things. Stop dismissing things. Definitely stop confining people into tight space where the bigger waters are way more interesting and allows way more freedom. Because I completely understand if you have figured out chess or checkers, if you figure that shit out. But when I invent my own checkers, my own chess, my own versions of games, I'm a game developer in heart, so I need to be in bigger waters than fucking chess, right? Oh, you can't just make a faster, better opener. That's impossible, people would say. And it's like, yeah. Because you're playing the same fucking game for years and years and years, and you pretend that you're cooler than me, but you gotta chill. Like, you can always discover the best opening as long as we switch to from chess to slightly different variation of chess. You know, that's the funny thing. I don't know how much you learned, okay? Don't judge me for your own ability to learn and my ability to convey unbelievably complex information. We don't have to judge each other for that either. None of this fucking matters besides you learning as much as possible, right? That's what should have been focused on. This would be like a bucket tree, like self-splitting buckets. Like if it detects that one data set is bigger than the other, what would it do? Would it... I mean, it would try another set of bucket sets or whatever and see which one works better. It's weird, though. Like, how do you make the most efficient bucket splitter? See you guys next time. I mean, in this video, we found, like, the most important thing that people have to acknowledge. And that makes my claim, well, yeah, officially it's the end, right? It makes my claim worthless. Yes, I can be like 10 times fat, I mean, 10% faster, maybe even 2 times faster than the fastest sorting algorithm. But the sorting algorithms are so fucking fast. They're so fucking fast that competing against them, it's worthless. It's a waste of time, right? This is how fast they are. To the point where even this notation is worthless. That was just, you know, nail in a coffin to my argument that I am the fastest in the world. All of us are fastest in the world until the Olympics, you know? Just but I am an Olympic runner to be the fastest in the world, all right? I'm signed up, which is good, you know? That's good. That's awesome. You'll see me running, you know? Whoa, I will show speed. Is the new way of saying it, isn't it? And bye.